Hi everyone, Bangthany Bangtano here, the internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time for a review of this new IDLES album, Tangk. Yep. Fifth full-length LP from rock and post-punk outfit IDLES, a band that broke out around the tail end of the 2010s, with a reputation of being one of the loudest, most brash, and opinionated bands out of the UK. And from the start, they've been climbing on this slow upward trajectory with an increasingly blunt sound, bolder presentation of their takes on systematic violence, sexism, bigotry, general ignorance, which all really reached a peak on their 2020 record Ultra Mono, an album that personally I liked a lot, though I could understand why this LP wouldn't necessarily be an IDLES fan favorite. It is not nearly as nuanced as their previous two, lyrically and sonically, as the record's sound and views are delivered in this deafeningly loud fashion, and clearly I guess this direction was beginning to paint the band in a corner of sorts. But how do you change course creatively when your MO is based on the explosive, thrilling appeal of punk music and hardline stances against the close-minded rot plaguing modern society? So the band, and specifically their frontman Joe Talbot, were beginning to see limitations in the unbridled anger they were presenting on their songs, especially on tracks like Model Village, which is a personal favorite of mine, but the group just doesn't want to present or play those songs anymore, given the emotions fueling them, which I guess I understand. And the group's following LP, Crawler, reflected that change of heart, with a more stripped back and toned down sound that saw the group emphasizing subtlety over sheer rage, not just on the sonic front, but also lyrically too. And while I didn't like the record that much, it still read very much like a breaking everything down to build it back up again type moment. And ultimately for me, the issue with lowering the heat as much as they did on that album is that it created a void in IDLES music that didn't necessarily get filled with anything else. Which brings us to Tangk, where I was hoping to find the band build things back up from the bare bones approach they took on their last LP. And listening to this, certainly some attempts at that are being made, and while it's not perfect, I can certainly see the vision a bit more this time around. Because it's clear IDLES wants to get back into doing songs that have a bit more of a pulse again, but they're not doing it through rowdy riffs or mixes that are just head-pounding. No, instead they're embracing more dance grooves, more looped bits of instrumentation. I'm certainly not surprised to hear a song like Dancer go in that direction, not just due to the title, but also because it's a legit collaboration with LCD Sound System. And as a result of that crossover, this is about as close as I think an IDLES song is going to get to the dance floor, while also maintaining a very kind of heavy, grim, atmospheric sound. No doubt also frequent collaborator Kenny Beats had his hands in some of the groovier elements of this record too, which turn up again on key moments of this LP like Gift Horse, whose driving beats, revving, droning bass, and freakish rhythm guitars read like something out of a mutant disco track circa 1981, contrasted with pounding choruses that are pure IDLES all the way. So it's not like the band has completely changed their sound. This feels like IDLES, more varied, more balanced. If there's any issue I have on this LP with songs going in this direction, it's clear the band is still finding ways to kind of write songs in this way, build songs up in this fashion, because sometimes they do fail to write compelling or interesting transitional moments, part Bs, pre-choruses. And this leads to tracks that have a decent vibe to them, establish themselves emotionally and sonically pretty well, but then don't really know how to build off from there. I'm thinking songs like Pop 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 as well as Grace, for example, which again have some cool loops and grooves to them, but fail to really escalate or pop 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 at many, if any, points across their runtime. And this is also kind of the case for other songs on the record where the band tries to develop their sound in another way, and that's by bringing on more eerie and cinematic, varied instrumentation. I'm thinking of tracks on the record like the opener, as well as a gospel, which, after hearing these cuts, I can't say I'm too surprised to hear that super producer Nigel Godrich of Radiohead fame is in the mix on this record. And while, yeah, this has led to some moments where the band's music is sounding sounding more varied and pretty than ever. Again, they're failing to take these sounds and build them up into songs that actually develop significantly, because those extra pretty textures, even if they are paired with some great poetry from Joe Talbot, only go so far. And look, that poetry and Joe's lyrics across the LP, generally I'm a bit more impressed with than I was on Crawler. I think he is making a more concerted effort to write about themes of love and emotional intelligence, which I think is very much in line with the obvious shift sonically and stylistically the band has been trying to make here. Case in point, the closing track that unfortunately sees the record going out with not a bang but a whimper. I wish it was a more interesting final moment for the record, but I think Joe's words on being your own person, growing into your own person, self-determination are nice. I'm also liking the way he takes on the theme of gratitude on the song Gratitude. His passionate vocals on the killer choruses of the song Roy are amazing too. And the most straightforward rocker on the entire record has to be the song Hall & Oates, where I can't help but be reminded of that solution to male loneliness meme on the internet. This song certainly has it figured out, and it seems to be dudes loving other dudes and caring about each other and, like, you know, being supportive. It's an idea the band sells well over a chorus that's catchy, over riffs that are rowdy, over lyrics that are sometimes a little cheeky and fun. Look, overall, I think this is an improvement on Crawler, and I think Idols is beginning to move back in the right direction by delivering tracks that are more instrumentally, emotionally nuanced, and occasionally groovy too. While this is still far from my favorite record in the group's discography, I do think it is, you know, an improvement on the last one, and I am liking it quite a bit. So I'm feeling a light 7 on this one. Transition, have you given this album a listen? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you rate it? You're the best, you're the best. What should I review next? Hit the like if you like. Please subscribe and please don't cry. Hit the bell as well. Over here next to my head is another video that you could check out. Hit that up with a link to subscribe to the channel. Anthony Fantano, Idols of Forever.